Happy Wednesday, and thank you for waking up with Wesley. I'm Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. We'll do a quick fog update, and then we've got to talk about our next rain chances, maybe a chance later this evening, and then a much higher chance coming in Saturday, and could actually be some severe storms by next Monday. So lots to get to, so without further ado, let's get things started here. First of all, take a look outside at some of our cams. This is a live look at the Silver Slipper cam on the coast of Hancock County. This is a look at the IP Casino Resort and Spa cam in Biloxi. You can't really see anything in that view. Let's switch it over to the Meteorologist cam in Biloxi. Also can't see anything there. And switch it over to the Hancock Whitney cam in Gulfport. You can barely make out the water tower on the left side of the image there. So not much visibility to be had in the local area this Wednesday morning, as it is still pretty foggy. We do have some time lapses that I want to roll for you. I always like to watch fog in time lapse to see it in motion. This is the Biloxi cam rolling from just before 6 a.m. And you saw it wasn't that bad earlier, but then the fog really became quite thick and it was basically hard to see anything else after about 7 o'clock this morning in Biloxi. This continues during the current moment in time. It's currently 8:33. Here's another Biloxi cam. This is at the I-110 by IP Casino Resort and Spa. And you saw the same thing there. Basically during the 6 o'clock hour, the fog became extremely thick and it was very difficult to see much of anything. And then we got one more. There's going to be a cam in Gulfport at the Hancock Whitney Bank where you could actually still see the water tower there on the left. Up Highway 49, and then the fog rolled in. It's a lot like yesterday morning. Yesterday morning started off slightly clear around 4 a.m., but then by the time we got to 6 and 7 a.m., it was pea soup, as they say. Very thick fog out there. So now we can take a look at some of the data about this fog, and you can see that over the last couple of hours, those visibility numbers have come down in places like Gulfport, down to only 1 mile during the current hour, even though it was fine, of course, earlier this morning. Now, this is looking at the last 6 days of visibility, and you'll notice, well, that just changed as we got to the new half hour, so maybe I can reload this graphic. It just changed from 1 to 3 miles, so some improvement in just the last little moment there for this morning, compared to yesterday morning when it was still pretty bad. But we had so many mornings that we didn't have to worry about fog, but these last couple of mornings have definitely been pretty foggy. And now we take a look at the last few hours to see the trend. Has it been getting worse or better? 6 hours ago, there were plenty of places that didn't have much. 3 hours ago, we started to see more of it on the map. And then during the current hour, there's plenty of spots with dense fog here in South Mississippi. So there's that kind of more larger map, and you can see our 6 southernmost counties, plenty of places with fog in Jackson County, Harrison County, Hancock County, also parts of Stone and George counties seeing that fog. And if we zoom the map, whoa, we zoomed way out. Zoom the map out, we can see that there's actually plenty of places with fog all along the Gulf Coast region, from Florida to parts of Alabama, South Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. So now let's take a look at the forecast, because the good news is that this is about to clear away. There's one other cam in Gulfport at Champion Jeep Ram at I-10 and 605. And the good news is that as we go to the next 6 hours, fog is going to be in the rear view, figuratively speaking, of course. And the rest of the day looks nice. We'll get a nice amount of sun. Probably not much chance for rain over the next 6 hours, but the temperatures are going to be the talk of the town, because for places that are away from the cooler waters, places that are north of I-10, that are inland, it's going to be pretty warm today. I think we'll see highs, probably one of the warmest days of the year so far. Mid-80s is where we'll go on the thermometer by 2 p.m. Now, there are some other places that are right by the beaches, south of Interstate 10. You're very close to the cooler waters, and there should be a wind from the south this afternoon. So that wind off the cooler water should probably prevent the temperatures from going too far into the 80s, and some of those spots might actually get stuck in the 70s down by the beaches down along the coast. So we've talked about the fog, we've talked about how it's going to be nice and warm today, but now we got to talk about some rain chances. And wouldn't you know it, there's actually a chance this evening. It's not a big one though. Here's what we're watching. Tracking a disturbance located over Arkansas this morning. It is getting a little weaker as it moves toward the coast. And I think that most of the rain, maybe all of the rain with that, is probably going to fall apart before it reaches us. But you can see there might be just one or two little showers in parts of southern Mississippi that might try to approach us as we head into Wednesday evening. Might even have a rumble of thunder with some of those. But for the most part, many of us will probably miss out on the rain potential for Wednesday and Wednesday night. As you can see, better potential mainly west of where we are on the map. But again, maybe somebody gets a tiny little shower out of tonight or an isolated rumble of thunder. Now tomorrow, not really much potential for rain locally. Could be a bit of a drier day for us. Might have some lower humidity. Friday, we'll spend most of the day with no rain, but we will begin to see a rain system developing west of us, and it will head our way after midnight Friday night, which is also known as Saturday. So Saturday, that's when we will see much higher chance for rain. You can see this yellow color indicating heavy rain. So the rain could be heavy enough to cause flooding on Saturday. We actually have a level 1 out of 4 risk of flooding on Saturday in South Mississippi. The plus side is maybe the whole weekend won't be a washout. Take a look at Sunday. We see more breaks in the showers. It's not a continuous blob of green or rain on the map. Also, we see that the color is not yellow. It's a green color, indicating light rain, if we see any at all on Sunday. So that's encouraging news for Sunday. Now, if you're paying attention to national headlines, you're probably seeing information about severe weather risk over the weekend. And this has been moving around. When I checked it on Monday, the severe risk included the Mississippi coast. When I checked it on Tuesday, the severe risk was trimmed to the north of our coast. And now I'm checking the risk map again today on Wednesday, and the Mississippi coast is still trimmed out of Sunday's area. But I wonder what happens when I check it again tomorrow. Will it come back on top of us? Will it move around a little bit more? I will say the closer you get to the actual forecast, the more predictable and the more accurate the map is going to be. So I doubt we're going to see too many more fluctuations with this. But as you can see, not really a concern for us on Sunday night. However, you go to Monday night, and there you go. The Mississippi coast is included in that area. And if you want to be specific about it, the timing of these maps is from 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. the next day. So this is from Sunday morning to Monday morning, from 7 a.m. Sunday to 7 a.m. Monday. That's the blue one. And then the yellow one is from 7 a.m. Monday to 7 a.m. Tuesday. It covers a lot of real estate, so there's a lot of places that could get the rain and storms over a 24-hour period. But if you look closely at this blue line here, the exiting edge of Sunday's map, that's a 7 a.m. line. So it tells you that if we've got, let me get a storm icon so I can show you what I'm talking about. All right, so if we've got storms that start at 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, and then they get here about 1 or 7 o'clock in the evening on Sunday, and then they get over here by this blue line by 7 o'clock in the morning on Monday, that means they don't really cross over that blue line until after 7 o'clock in the morning on Monday. So we're not really expecting it to be an issue on Monday until the sun comes up, until we get to the daylight hours. And that's exactly what our computer models indicate. Take a look, there's 7 a.m. The rain and storms are beginning to move in from the northwest, and you can see it could turn pretty rainy and stormy on Monday morning. I think that there's a risk that some of the thunderstorms we see on Monday could become strong to severe. Maybe we'll have to talk about tornado warnings. Maybe we'll have to talk about severe thunderstorm warnings on Monday morning. Will it be an all-day thing? Right now, the model doesn't show that. It shows that as we get to Monday afternoon, look at by 3, 4, 5 p.m., looks like we're catching a break and the worst storms have moved offshore. So let me go through that timing one more time for you. Here's 7 a.m. Monday. The worst storms are approaching and are about to move in from the northwest. So they're approaching our area on Monday morning around daybreak. Then you go to 10 o'clock in the morning, looks pretty stormy for us. South Mississippi, coastal Mississippi under the gun. That'll be when we see one of the stormiest parts of the day, around 9, 10, and 11 o'clock in the morning on Monday. And then we go to the middle of the day on Monday, around noon, 1 and 2 p.m. Some of the storms are still lingering along the coast, but the majority of the storms have actually shoved offshore. So we're beginning to see some improvement during the early afternoon on Monday. And then by the time we get to 3, 4, and 5 p.m., that's when I think the majority of the storms should be well offshore. And so we're not really expecting to see any more storm activity locally on the coast by that point in time. So there's your 7-day forecast. Obviously a lot going on. We covered first off the fog that's in the area this morning that will clear by 9 or 10 a.m. We also covered the temperatures, which will likely hit the 80s in most areas today. The only exceptions will be right by the beaches and only in the places that get a wind from the south, which could be parts of Gulfport and Biloxi. We covered our low rain chance that could come in by this evening. And then you look at tomorrow, it turns drier. Lower humidity possibly that you might notice. It feels a little less muggy on Thursday. The winds really ramp up Friday ahead of Saturday's rain system. Right now, Saturday looks like mostly rain with only a chance of thunderstorms and no expectation of severe weather in South Mississippi. Then Sunday, maybe the rain's thinning out. It could be so heavy on Saturday that it floods in a few spots, but on Sunday the rain's thinning out. Maybe we catch a lot of breaks in the rain. Maybe we get no rain at all on Sunday, and if we do, it should only be light. And then you go to Monday and that storm system comes in, maybe a severe risk with that. We're watching it. And then finally after next Monday, we get a drop in humidity for next Tuesday. So an active weather pattern across the local area for the next 7 days certainly will do you some good to pay attention to the weather with all of these impacts that could be in our local area. Well, thank you so much for waking up with Wesley. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. Take care. We'll see you again on the next video.